Hey, everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Becca's Book Club Adventure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. I am not in my usual location.
I'm so jealous.
Are you? It's rained like nonstop since we got here.
I debated driving 10 hours alone this morning and taking the week off impromptu.
You should have. The more the merrier. It would have helped with your dad's German lessons to have you around to hang out with.
Our family's vacation vibes at Hilton Head, I think, are a unique subset. I mean, they're very Ohioan, right? Like every Ohio family I know vacations in Hilton Head at some point.
Yeah. The amount of Ohio license plates, just as we were driving down like 95 and whatnot to get to the island, it was a lot more than usual. Like usually you'll see North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Pennsylvania, New York, but it was just like 9 out of every 10 cars was an Ohio license plate. It's crazy.
And it's kind of a lovely vacation because you know exactly what you're getting into each and every time. It's gonna rain. It's gonna be really humid. You're gonna eat the same food that you ate last year, with the exception of a different type of thing to put on toast, maybe?
Yeah, I think our food choices are a little bit different this year because there's so few of us. but yes, there's going to be bagels. There's going to be things that you put on bagels. There's going to be pasta salad. But no, it's a good time. The weather is great. It's like in the mid 70s because it's been raining so much.
It's hotter here.
Yes. I don't envy you all. I mean, my grass, my yard is probably dying, but whatever.
Meanwhile, I got to run my first trail half marathon.
Yeah. So how did that go? That was wait, okay. So we're recording on Monday evening and you just ran that Saturday morning, right? Yeah. So how'd that end up going?
It went well. So the vibes of a trail race are incredibly different from a road race. There were, I don't know, 40 of us that ran this race. And it was like
Okay.
no, you go, no, you go, no, you go, up to the start line.
That's amazing. I would have assumed that there would have been some ultra competitive people running.
I mean, there probably were, but people are like, no, I know my pace. You go ahead. And very quickly, people are correct about where they fall in lines.
What was the weather like for the race? It was it was a morning thing, right?
Yeah, so it started off really nice in the morning. I think it was like 70 or something, but then it got up to 90 by the time I finished the race. So it was hot at the end.
But you were in the woods most of the time, so like at least it was shady, yeah.
Shady and then cool, dense, like less because you're in the woods. So it wasn't so bad. And I was mostly prepared for the race, having not put the amount of miles on my feet that I was planning to put originally. So, I got to about mile 12 and a half, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I can walk another half mile, but I am done.
Did you end up getting making a running buddy, or was it just you and the mushrooms?
It was just me and the mushrooms. There wasn't anyone near me.
Were
In
the
like the best
mushrooms?
way possible. Like there was someone ahead of me, maybe like by a minute or two, and someone behind me by a minute or two. So like I wasn't alone, but I didn't see people.
So, if I might ask, full understanding that you were stopping to smell the mushrooms, as it were. What was your final time for the 13 miler?
30-10, I think. Somewhere in
30
that ballpark.
10?
What?
Did you say like 30-10?
No, 3 hours and 10-ish minutes.
Okay. I was just like 30. Are you what? Okay. All right. We get you into the Olympics. Damn. All right.
pace where you were like, was she running or was she hiking? No one really knows.
How many trail races are down in your area? Like, how frequent could you do them?
So the person that organizes this one organizes like 6 of them in the area. And when I say like in the area, I mean like within 10 minutes of my house.
Okay. And when you say 6 of them in the area, is that like spring, summer, and fall, or is that just fall?
They're spread out throughout the year. So the big one is the Thunder Bunny, which is in May. I just did the Run Baileys, which is in August. The Shawnee 50K is the longest one, and I think that's in the middle of like October or so.
Okay.
And then there's a
So
couple of shorter races.
if you're gonna do like 6 races in what, like an 8-month period, that's pretty frequent. It's like every 5 weeks or something.
Yeah, they're busy.
Woo! All right. I'm driving up to Charleston with your dad tomorrow. We're
Should be
gonna
fun.
go visit and tour Fort Sumter.
Good luck with your German lesson.
Thank you. I will make the most of it. But I guess otherwise, we've just been like living that Onyx Storm life, huh?
Yeah, it was a mad dash to finish this. So Matt came down to our house to prepare to get down to Hilton Head in good timing, and I still had, I think, 150 pages by the time you showed up. So I think I finished 100 pages that evening, and then I woke up at 5 a.m. when you left the house and finished the rest of them before I had to return my book at 8 a.m.
Nice. Damn. You're cutting it close on time, girl.
Yeah, it was wildly unfortunate. And then I proceeded to try and listen to the audiobook to fill in my sleep deprived gaps. And I still have 3 hours left to go to re-listen to the end.
Man, I feel like I need to reread the end, but I had to return my version to the library proper before vacation. So, I mean, we'll get into why we need to read the second half of this damn book again. But like, yeah, okay. So for anybody that is watching, we read chapters 28 through the end, which is like just the second half of the book. And I think, I don't know about you, but it just gave me so many more questions and so many more frustrations than any type of nice resolution.
I mean, I was exhausted while I was reading it, and it just made me more exhausted because I was like, I know there are dots I should be connecting here, but I can't make them connect.
I felt that way about the book in its entirety. There were dots that I needed to connect that I couldn't connect.
I will say, so I started listening to the part 2 of the graphic audio, and I'm about 7 hours in, and now I'm like, oh, obvious, oh. So I do think a reread is well worth it.
Okay. Well, I guess before we get into the details, I'm really interested to talk about this because of all of the questions. And I don't know what the vibe is out in the Rebecca Yarros world about this, but if anybody's watching or listening and you want to talk to us, feel free. Leave us a comment, throw us a review, email us at bookclubbybecca@gmail.com, DM us on Instagram. We are at Becca's Book Club Adventure. And throw us what you thought of all of this. I think we're gonna recap what we've read before we start talking about what we read because so much stuff happened. But we also should check in with our sponsor for today. And I felt like this would be fun. In honor of me being in Hilton Head this week, today's episode is brought to us by Sunscreen. Sunscreen is that thing you pretend to use for the first 3 hours of every beach day.
Do you hate touching your phone? Or even a book? Are you tired of smooth skin and clean clothes? Try Sunscreen, now in 3 finishes: greasy, greasier, and slip and slide.
Choose from classic lotion for that full body glue trap experience, or aerosol spray, which is perfect for applying to everyone on the beach except for yourself.
Smells like SPF, broken dreams, and a hint of tropical despair. And good news, you'll get to smell that for the next 4 months.
And don't worry about actually being protected, though. Even after slathering yourself with a Thanksgiving turkey, you'll still come home with that one random red rectangle on your back.
Nothing says summer fun like performing advanced yoga in public just to reach your own shoulder blades.
Side effects include a surprise Arctic blast every time someone helps you apply it, smelling like a pina colada that's been left out in a car too long, the guaranteed adhesion of all local sand particles and microplastics, and smearing lotion through your body hair like you're caulking a shag carpet with regret.
Sunscreen. It's like wearing a sticky force field that doesn't work, but judges you if you skip it.
Yep. Okay, Onyx Storm. We read chapters 28 through the end, which is chapter 66. So kick us off with what happened in that big chunk of reading.
The story picks up at Basgiath immediately after the quest squad returns from Devarelli. While away from Navarre, the Venin have changed course and are, allegedly, concentrating in the inevitable failure of the Aretian wards. Tensions are, of course, high.
Violet is able to decode and open her father's books in just 2 days, and to allow herself the ability to read them without falling behind on all the other books that Takaris, Queen Mariah, and Jacinia sent her way. Violet has the entire squad reading everything.
Xaden also returns after recuperating in Arisha, but the gold flecks in his onyx eyes are permanently amber. Thankfully, only Violet seems to notice the change, but it means time is running out.
And because time is running out, Violet decides to go against the Scenarium's rules in order to expedite her mission. They won't be reporting back to the Scenarium after each individual isle that they search.
10 days of planning, and the squad is on its way back to Devarelli in order to search the surrounding islands. Violet has added Traeger and Marin to the squad, and Arik himself, making Halden unnecessary. Thank heavens.
Thank heavens. The first isle that they search is Umbriel, where the inhabitants all worship Dune, the goddess of war.
Violet, Xaden, Arik, Kat, and Dane fly to the capital city, where they are herded by the guards to their temple of Dune. Violet is shaken when she realizes that all of the servants have silver hair. All of them. And one in particular has hair exactly like Violet.
At the temple, a trial by combat to prove their worthiness to meet with the queen ensues. What they thought was going to start out with Xaden wiping everybody on the floor turns into Xaden, Dane, and Violet being chosen to fight 2 enormous male warriors who have to be like 7-foot tall bodybuilders, and 1 female warrior who's the same size as Dane or Xaden.
Things take an interesting turn, and Dane is knocked unconscious pretty quickly, and Violet uses some pretty sweet jujitsu moves to pin the female warrior. While pinning her, Violet then flings a dagger at Xaden's opponent, allowing Xaden to win his duel.
Female warrior will not submit, though, until something snaps inside Violet. At the same time, a storm breaks and lightning crashes down all around them. Was it Violet?
The female warrior submits, and then the riders win their audience with the queen, who just so happens to be the warrior that Violet just dueled.
Long story short, Violet secures the rights to have dragons on the Isle in order to search for the Irids, but does not secure any type of alliance for the war because the queen wants dragon eggs as payment, and ain't no way that's happening.
So, with that, they fly to the next isle. The Isle of Hedotus is an island built on the knowledge and peace, where they receive much warmer welcome from Faris, one of the Triviante, and his wife Talia and Zayden's mother. I listened, and I don't know how to say that word.
Triumvirate?
Thank you. Triumvirate. That's exactly what I heard on the book.
Triumvirate. All right. While on the island, the squad stays at Ferris and Talia's home, and love begins to blossom between Kat and Trigger while they're there.
The stay is uncomfortable, though, because Talia wants to know her son, and Zayden wants little to do with his mother that abandoned him as soon as she could. But he agrees to her dinner invitation, and as a peace offering, Violet gives Talia some of Talia's favorite armand to make for tea.
Dinner is between the riders, Talia, and the Triumvirate, who are using the opportunity to test their guests' wisdom.
The triumvirate pick apart the writer's life choices, deeming them unwise at every chance. But it isn't until dessert is served that Violet's spidey senses start to tingle.
She realizes that the chocolate cake is poisoned, but Garrick takes a big, huge bite before she can warn everyone, and he's poisoned.
Of course, Violet is able to cure Garrick before.
Just read that. You're good.
Of course, the triumvirate have no idea how to cure themselves. And of course, they use this as a way to let everyone leave Hedotus alive.
The squad immediately flies to the next major isle,
Denalia,
Zahilna. Zahilna. I don't know. Zahilna? How do you pronounce that?
I think it was Zahila.
Zahila. Okay, cool. Where the people worship the god of luck. The inhabitants are excited to see the squad arrive, and there's magic. Not enough to channel or wield, but enough that energy source and the bonds and the mental communications are all restored, with the dragons and the riders.
When I scroll, I skip things. My bad.
No worries.
Zenalia, the squad must play games of luck and not complain about the gifts of God, about the gifts the god of luck bestows upon them in order to meet the queen.
They each draw something like a tarot card. And this seems like the kind of detail that will come back in the future. So here's a quick rundown of what everybody chose.
Mira is gifted wine.
Marin receives 2 orange tunics.
Dane gets slapped in the face.
Garrick is gifted a rusted steel bucket.
Arik receives a fractured mirror that cuts him.
Zayden gets an empty glass box.
Violet is gifted a broken black compass.
Riddick gets kissed. And of course he does.
Cat receives a necklace with a big ruby.
Drake is given a tabby cat.
And the last one, Traeger, is shot in the heart with an arrow and dies.
But nobody complains, and 8 hours later, they have an alliance and army to help fight the war. Unfortunately, Andarna's lost family is not on the Isle, and nobody that lives on the Isle knows where they are.
So the next morning, they fly to a deserted isle to properly say goodbye and administer final rites to Traeger and Salia, his griffin.
Afterwards, they split into 5 groups to search the surrounding isles quickly before meeting up to get back on the typical trade routes.
Everyone flies away except Violet and Riddick, and before they can, 6 representatives of the Irids land on the beach to talk to Andarna.
First, we get a little bit of a backstory on Andarna.
The Irids are pacifists and fled the constant violence of Navarre. They left her in Navarre so that they would have someone to tell them of the humans' evolution under the wards, and if they were able to evolve into the peace the wards were meant for so the Irids would know that it was safe to return.
Obviously, that did not happen, and the Irids are pissed and disappointed about it.
They tell Andarna they find her to be an abomination, as they are of other dragons and the humans, and half of them leave at that point.
The half that stay seem interested in learning why the evolution occurred the way it did. But then Zayden and Garrick return, and the Irids and Riddick see Zayden's eyes, which are red rimmed.
Any chance of an alliance with the Irids goes out the window, and they all leave for good.
They wouldn't talk about how the Venin were supposedly defeated in the First War.
Clearly, they won't help fight a new war.
They are not going to help fire the Aretian Wardstone.
And they said that there is no cure for Venin.
Violet and Riddick end up having a really heated heart to heart where they agree on a point of no return for Zayden, and they agree that Violet needs to share this secret with Rhianna and Sawyer and Jasenia when they all get home.
The next morning, they fly back for Basgiath, 3.5 weeks after the journey started, and the squad returns to school.
They return with assurances of a 40,000 person army, yes, but also without Trigger, with Kat sad and heartbroken, and with Andarna depressed and not speaking to anyone.
They return to a letter to Violet from Theophany, who knows all about their mission and looks forward to their next rendezvous.
They return to news that Queen Mariah is dead, and the Dark Wielders have conquered and drained the majority of Peromio.
And the return to an intense inquisition about their journey.
But there ends up being no punishment because the king is just so happy to have his son Eric back. So the squad resumes their typical activities.
Classes resume just in time for the squad's rotation to Arisha for rune classes. Sawyer flies out on his prosthetic leg and learns how to mount his dragon and is back in the saddle.
Gotta love that. In Arisha, Violet is reunited with Zayden, and for once, they have a real conversation.
The topic? Violet's reoccurring nightmare that she's had since Resin about the sage.
But plot twist, it's not her nightmare. It's Zayden's. And Violet comes to the conclusion that she's been in Marin's dreams too.
And that it's her second signet from Andarna, dreamwalking, a kind of intrinsic power. And just as realization hits, Arisha is under attack.
So they launch into the sky to fight, and fight they do. After Taryn takes out multiple Wyvern, Violet has an opening to wield her lightning and takes down even more.
Somehow, she finds herself in front of the Temple of Dune, just as Auric told her, and the priestesses are so happy to see one of their own.
But of course, Theophany appears and tells her to stop fighting, or else everybody's dead. The priestesses call Theophany a traitor, and it dawns on Violet that she used to be a priestess of Dune.
Something scares Theophany away and she disappears, and then the remaining wyverns start falling dead from the sky.
Because the wards are up. Because the Irid Leothan arrived and fired the wardstone.
Specifically, he arrived to offer Andarna the chance to know the Irids, to know their ways and learn their magic. Violet only wants Andarna to be happy, so Leothan breaks the bond between Violet and Andarna, and she leaves with him. Andarna is gone.
Violet doesn't die because of her bond with Taryn, but she's like really broken all the same and spends the next like 4 or 5 days in bed, unable to function while the rest of Arisha celebrates victory.
Mira and Brennan do their best to nurse Violet, and eventually Violet gets out of bed about the time Mira and Brennan have a fight over information Mira discovered, and Violet starts putting the pieces together.
It seems that Violet was taken to Umbriel by her father when she was a young child and dedicated to the Temple of Doom, which is why her hair is like silver tipped, but not completely silver.
And then Mira finds out about Zayden's veninousness and is pissed. She leaves Orisha and heads back to the front.
Andarna may be gone, but the dream walking ability somehow remains. And Violet is starting to get better at it. After one of Zayden's nightmares, Garrick knocks on the door with bad news. Theophany has Mira at Drathis, and she'll die if they don't come with her brother.
So they fly to Drathis to meet Theophany. On the way, they see Arik flying south away from the battle.
They meet Theophany on the field outside the city where she is holding Mira prisoner. Then Garrick arrives with Jack Barlow, who apparently is the brother that Theophany mentioned.
Instead of playing nice, Theophany slits Mira's throat and throws her dagger at Jack before the wyvern hauls her to safety.
You gotta love when we're concisely summing this up, just like the boom boom nature of. Anyway, Sloane arrives on the field with a package for Violet from Eric, which is from the Temple of Dune. Who's Eric said she would need it, and then with Sloane's help, Brennan mends Mira, saving her life.
As the battle gets started at Drathis, we'll focus on just two parts: Violet versus Theophany, and Imogen's part in defending the city itself.
All right, Violet and Bodhi wait for Theophany to come back to confront Violet, and they don't have to wait long. She does exactly that.
Bodhi tries to counter her signet lightning, but it doesn't work because Theophany is not a lightning wielder. She's a storm wielder. I guess it's just Violet and Theophany.
Violet and Theophany alternate between hand-to-hand combat, aerial combat, and a battle of wits and time, all within the storm that Theophany creates.
While Violet chases Theophany down, Imogen, Bodhi, and Dane take to the skies and battle Wyvern and Dark Wielders in a combination of gnarly dragon tactics and hand-to-hand combat.
It's working, but Venin are also on the ground, and they're starting to infiltrate the armory where Quinn is.
Imogen and Dane dismount and work their way into the armory. Imogen takes out 2 Dark Wielders, but not in time to keep Quinn from being stabbed in the chest.
Instead of being able to save her, Imogen watches her best friend die in her arms. And Quinn goes to be with Imogen's mom and sister.
Can I tell you how many times I had to read this to figure out whether or not Imogen was the one who put the dagger in Quinn? I was so confused.
It was. I'll agree with you. It wasn't super clearly written.
Garrick finds them just as Dark Wielders begin draining the city and shifts them back to safety.
Because he's a distance walker, which is just a little detail. Anyway, eventually, Violet flies into sunlight as Theophany lessens the storm in order to make it harder for Violet to wield lightning. And then Taryn is captured with a net, and the two have a crash landing.
While Taryn struggles to get free, Violet opens the package Arik gave her, and
Theophany
lands and stalks closer. The package contains a dagger and a piece of marble from Orisha's Temple of Dune.
If anybody, Becca is not stupid. In the show notes that I have there, Theophany is totally not spelled anything. That's not a word. Anyway.
I thought it was a character that I missed, and I was like, oh shit.
In a nearby canyon, Zayden and Sigale are also trapped with a net, but not by Theophany, by Berwyn, who is the sage that like Zayden apparently didn't kill when he became Venin. Okay, so he's captured by Berwyn, but there are also 3 other Dark Wielders and the Navarian traitor, General Panchek, who apparently had been selling information to Berwyn this entire time.
But Zayden refuses to let this be the end. He draws from the earth and darkness spreads as he kills the Dark Wielders and knocks Berwyn unconscious and dispatches Panchek. No longer a mere initiate, he lets his power search for Violet.
As Violet and Theophany discuss how Theophany was a priestess of Dune back on Umbriel, but left it to become a god instead of just worshiping a god, Xaden covers their entire area in darkness.
Violet uses the gift Auric provided in the strike in the dark, just as Andarna appears to defend Violet.
Violet strikes with the Dune dagger and kills Theophany and promptly passes out from burnout.
Our story comes to a close 12 hours later as Violet awakens in Orisha.
Her memory of everything since she passed out fighting Theophany is gone. Her left arm is shattered, and she's wearing a wedding ring.
There's also a note in her pocket from the Temple of Dune confirming her marriage to Xaden. But that bond is completely gone because Xaden is gone.
Bullshit. Okay, first of all, what'd you think of part 2?
There was a lot going on. I clearly needed to read it again. The re-listen has been good. There's a lot. I see why there's 2 more books.
I feel like there's so much that we left out of that. Like, for example, Eric is a precog that just sees the future. Okay, cool. Xaden is gone, but also like 4 or 5 other um relic marked rebel kids or whatever are missing, which we all know means that they just went with Xaden or something.
Probably.
And Imogen is the one that stole Violet's memory, but at Violet's request, apparently.
Yes. Because she
What?
leaves
Okay.
with, I did exactly what you told me to do.
Oh, when Eric flew south away from the battle, he went there to get the army from Umbriel or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that they got in the alliance. Okay. Uh yeah, like so much happened and you can't summarizing this section of reading, I was so upset when I was like taking notes and distilling them. I'm like, there's so much that happened.
And we don't know which parts will matter until the 4th book comes.
No. I have to imagine that the gifts they got from the god of luck are gonna matter. Um like that's why I was like, we gotta list these. Somehow that black compass is gonna matter. It's gonna like, I don't know. Anyway, we need to focus on just part 3 in this episode because there's too much. Okay.
You gonna start
I
with the
suppose,
battle?
yeah, let's start with the ending. I think that's the easiest thing after the. So here's a question. Did they win? I mean, Melgren, who apparently can see the outcome of battles, said that if Xaden flew into battle, the battle would be lost. And Xaden flew into the battle, but apparently everybody's celebrating.
But also, he's not right when there's more than 3 marked ones in a battle, which we can assume that was the case in this battle.
That's true.
But also, they got Theophany, but they lost the Sage.
Mm-hmm.
This definitely feels like uh, let's do best 3 out of 5 situation, and you're on battle 2.
It feels like when we were reading it, right, it feels like they're getting their asses handed to them. And then Xaden goes full Venin and allows Violet to kill Theophany. And then what, like the battle just ends? How did they win?
And at what cost? We've now lost Xaden permanently.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they lost the city of Drathus if the Venin were like draining it when after Quinn died.
right?
Eh. And then, of course, part of the battle that we left out was Rhiannon and the Iron Squad was defending like the Madaro Pass where all the civilians were, but like there weren't enough of them, and Wyvern were getting through. And so, how many civilians did they lose? And
And now she's queen or duchess,
yes, and we have to assume that's why Zayden like they got married. Um, okay, so she's married, but she's still a cadet,
which is not allowed.
which is yes. So how does that work? Is is she going to do her third year at Basgiath, or is she like dropping out and becoming Duchess of Tyrandor?
Okay, but like, let's think about this. How much time has she spent in classes versus out of classes compared to what should be normal?
That's true. And also for the time she has spent in classes, it doesn't seem to me that she's been reading a damn thing for the classes. She's been studying, Venin and the Isles and stuff.
She's definitely on an alternative learning plan, and she's got it nailed to a T. That woman knows everything.
An alternative learning plan. I love it. I love it. It's like FMLA for school.
Not everyone needs to be on the same learning plan. It doesn't work for all.
So I guess something I'm curious about with Zayden. Okay, so Zayden went 70 plus whatever days without wielding, right? Like Venin,
Hmm.
which means he has self-control. And then but so he that self-control just doesn't matter when the battle happens.
He loses self control anytime that Violet is at risk.
But does he know that Violet is at risk?
Mm. I
Because
mean, they
they're
have,
like in between different hills. They're far away from each other.
but they have their bond, and we didn't hear them talking, but we can presume that there's some type of talking.
Okay. Okay, let's say that's true. He has apparently this entire backup plan for what happens when like the venomous takes him. Was that like a plan for like 2 years in the future, or did he know that this is how this battle was going to go, and he was going to wield from the earth and just win it for everybody at any cost?
Zayden's a man of plans. I think he has A through L already defined plans, and he's working on other backup plans
That's
as
annoying.
things move forward. That's why he doesn't tell the truth all the time, because he doesn't know what the truth is, because he's working on different plans.
I'm not okay. What do you think of them being married?
Uh, no?
I really want to know what that conversation was like when I don't know because I think Zayden said that I don't know if Zayden asked or if he had Sigale reach out and ask. I don't remember how that went, but I really want to know how that conversation went. Like, uh, love of my life, I really fucked up, and I'm a fugitive now, and I need to run from the law. But before I run from the law, you're never ever going to see me ever 1000% ever again. Do you want to get married?
You want to just take over my kingdom? That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because at one point she's having a conversation with one of the teachers about how, Zayden comes first, Tyrandor comes second, their relationship is third, and Violet's needs are a convenience only. Which, like, one hand I get, but also Violet is like, Yeah, I will give up lots of things for tier uh, the Tears people that I've never met, and I've only spent, like, 10 days tops in Orisha, all because I love this man.
I love your sister more than anything else in this entire world, but like it's been over a decade. How long? It by the end of this, what? She's known Zayden for max 2 years.
Mhm.
That's great. But like her feelings have about Zayden haven't changed in the last year.
Do you think maybe Rebecca Yarros was named after the biblical book on Rebecca, where her husband dies and then she goes and she lays at the feet of her family's her in-laws bed or whatever, however that whole story goes. You don't know this biblical
I
story?
I know this story. You're
I'm
connecting
crossing.
dots that I didn't know. I did.
And that's the vibe I'm getting from Violet right now. She's like, I've lost my partner, but your people are my people, and I will now lead these people.
I like that. I really like that literary connection you just made. That saying I'm impressed sounds really condescending. So try to find something that is really cool. That is really good. That is really cool and really smart. I love that. And maybe with that, we should switch gears. I'm curious on your thoughts on theophany. What, first of all, so we thought Zayden killed Berwyn the Sage there at the end of, that was book two, right? The end of book two. But apparently, Berwyn ain't dead. No. But when Violet stabs Theophany with the blade made out of the Temple of Dune, Theophany desiccates, like goes down to a pile of ashes or whatever that is. So, first of all, is Theophany actually dead?
I hope so? Question mark.
Okay, I think we agree on that reaction. I don't have any other better words.
Also, why this dagger? Like, will this work on all Dune? Is it or all Venin, or is it because she was originally a priestess of Dune?
That one. I think this dagger works on Theophany because Theophany was a priestess of Dune who like forsook the goddess Dune.
Okay.
But
Mm.
to your question, the why this dagger is still something that I'm interested in because Eric saw the future because he's a precog. Okay.
Which was snuck in there.
So he had to get this dagger to give it to Violet. He couldn't just give her a new like alloy infused dagger that they usually kill the Venin with. So to your point, why this dagger? Why was this important in Eric's precog vision? It was
I'm sure we'll
crazy.
find out more.
Okay, so if Theophany is dead, is this like too easy? Was she hyped up too much? Like,
I think we're still going to learn a lot about her in the next book. This storm wielding detail at the end that we got is kind of frustrating because then you're like, well, why? But Violet's mom is gone, and that would have been a better pair up then.
yeah, 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 because Violet's mom was the storm wielder, and Violet's mom was born as the magical balance to Theophany. So like they were supposed to be foils,
Hmm.
but that never happened.
And Theophany clearly had things she wanted to tell Violet, and we didn't get those things. And I want them.
Yes. Which is actually the exact reason why I'm wondering if she's actually dead. Or does Theophany come back and talk to Violet and like give her all of that information as like Violet's trying to find Xaden or something?
It wouldn't make any sense, but I wonder if we do this through dream walking. I don't know whose dreams we're walking through, but is that how we get the rest of this knowledge?
Dude, you just be dropping bombs tonight.
This is why you have to re-listen to books. Otherwise, I sound really stupid on this podcast.
And okay, so I suppose the other topic for discussion is Prince Eric or Cam or whatever his name is being a true precog. Um, we've kind of already touched on him a little bit, but like here's my question for you. Does this bode well for Navarre?
It has to. Their prince now knows the future. That sounds
But
wildly convenient.
he's not the heir, he's the spare.
He is the spare, who's probably
And
going to kill
he's
the heir,
ooh, I would love to I would pay big money to see Prince Halden killed.
right?
That dude's a dick.
Yes.
Which I guess that kind of segues into the next thing. I kind of wanted to touch on the Isles since the Isles were such a big part of part two. I
Which
think
one was
that,
your favorite?
oh, good question. In what way? Like my favorite to read about, my favorite as in like, oh, I wouldn't mind living here.
Those would be two different aisles for me.
Uh-huh, yeah. Well, okay, my least favorite, 100% my least favorite was Hedotus with the twisting of wisdom.
See, I loved reading that island. It's a really fucked up island, and I wouldn't live there, but I enjoyed reading it.
I really enjoyed reading Unbriel, the one that is centered on war. Um, I thought it was the most interesting because the priestess for the Temple of Dune was the one like leading the trial by combat, and then the queen fought people to determine if they were worthy of talking to her. Like the layers there were really interesting to me. And then because Theophany was apparently a priestess there, that was interesting. And we get the whole um Violet's dad dedicated her there. It's just like we're going back. Somehow we're going back to Unreal in the future.
I
And that was
think
my
that's
favorite to read about, even though it was I wouldn't want to live there. I think I would probably pick to live on Zahinel or whatever.
I would pick to live on Deverelli solely for the silk robes that Violet ended up with in the bookstore.
Okay, let's start with Deverelli. One thing that kind of confused me the entire time I was reading this is every isle knew that this riot of dragons and riders and griffins and whatever was going to visit. How? I mean, obviously, King Corden from Deverelli sent out word, but how in the world did that communication get to these places faster than dragons can fly?
So many questions about these islands. How far are they really apart? How big are they? What is their connection communication system? Because it sounds like they're not connected at all. And then you have Hedotus that's a port city without a port. So like there's so many things logically that don't make sense about these islands.
And they don't have magic. The color schema of the islands are like lesser, they're pale, they're decreased color. Just
Except some of the uninhabited ones. Those do have magic.
right. And so why aren't those inhabited? Can't people feel magic? It's apparently just energy.
do they like not having magic? Is that the whole point? But then in that case, why are we praying to gods? I
Yes. Okay, so they leave Deverelli. They go to Unbriel, where Violet was apparently dedicated to the Temple of Dune by her father as a child.
We
Do
don't have
you
full
have
confirmation yet.
no, just Mira's like word.
Mhm.
But also that helps explain like because we have all of the books that her father wrote on all of the different isles and whatever. Okay, first question, do you believe Mira did her father do that?
I think so.
I think so too. Why do you think her father did that?
That's the part I can't wrap my brain around. Why would you dedicate your daughter to the goddess of war and then set her up to be in the archives?
Yes. That's the $1,000,000 question.
But then also this has proven to be very, very useful for Violet. She's doing very well as a cadet.
Yes. 100% she's running the show. Dane might be wing leader, Rhiannon might be squad leader, Violet's running the show. Like, okay, so after Unbriel, they go to Hadotis, where Wisdom, as a philosophy major who studied knowledge, this twisting of the concept of wisdom hurt my soul, which I understand is the rhetorical purpose behind what Rebecca Yarros was doing. Um, but uh, mainly Zayden's mom. I feel like this is sort of like a Chekhov's gun. Why in the world would an author introduce an long lost, estranged mother if she's going to be in the book for a chapter or two and then never appear ever again? I feel like this is a Chekhov's gun where Zayden's mom is going to be a thing now. What do you think is up with Zayden's mom?
Well, the commentary while they're on the island is that Zayden's mom has been hoarding this chocolate for months that keeps coming to the island because she knows that her son is coming and she wants to give him chocolate cake that she's practiced numerous times for it to be exactly like the chocolate cake he had in Arisha to bring back good childhood memories. That's a shit ton of work.
It's a lot of work, and the timeline 100% doesn't match up with when King Corden would have sent out communications from Deverelli that they're coming.
So she's been preparing for Zayden to show up at some point in time.
It's weird. It's creepy.
And she doesn't seem all that upset she got poisoned.
I'm trying to figure out if that was so the books are so well written that you want to give Rebecca Yarros the benefit of the doubt that she's writing all of this purposefully. But but part of me feels as though Rebecca Yarros might have glossed over developing these characters and it was like sort of poorly written. What is your take on that?
I don't know. I think she provided a level of intrigue that made me enjoy the island a little bit more because I like when you get a little bit of that flashback of history. So even if she doesn't reappear or serve purpose later, I enjoyed her for the 2 chapters we got.
So Violet ended up poisoning everybody in that room, like you mentioned. Um, can you imagine how awkward that would have been if the triumvirate had actually been kind of like nice and welcoming? Like, oh, wow, you guys are really wise. We're impressed. This is great. There was no chocolate cake poisoning, blah, blah, blah. And the triumvirate was like, yeah, let's talk about alliances. And then they all start puking their guts up. Like,
Well, I didn't fully grasp it until I started doing the re listen of when she and Andarna catch the little boys running off the island, and
Yeah.
they start scheming at that point, and I was like, "Oh, she had a premonition. She knew going in that they were hiding others for safety reasons."
Yes. I will say, my favorite part about Violet poisoning the triumvirate, was simply the really cool callback to first year when Violet was secretly poisoning her opponents on the mat. I like that full circle moment. That was really well done.
I think that's why it's my favorite island.
Okay. It's your favorite island because Violet was a bad bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then they go to, Zehinel, where they worship the god of luck, but it really feels like a Bob Marley type island where it's just like, you know, or a Lion King, you know, moment, Hakuna Matata.
Yep.
And instead of just, no worries, you're like, "Oh, but the god gave us everything. It's all good. It doesn't matter what it is."
They all are just taking shifts, waiting for people to arrive because they know they're arriving. It's fine. No one's got work to go to or things to do. They just sit and wait in this giant arena.
Which, to answer your, original question, I think I would live on Zehinel for that exact reason.
No one's at
It
work.
it's just Bob Marley, Hakuna Matata, no job.
Fair,
That sounds great.
fair.
Okay, so, uh, Traeger dies, and they go off to the no-name islands where they meet the Irids. But then the Irids come back a couple of different times, and Downer comes back, whatever. So, so the Irids are pacifists. Did you see that coming?
Mm, I'm gonna go with no.
I didn't see it coming either.
It's not surprising.
No. I definitely foresaw them being proponents of peace,
Hmm.
but I think I saw them as almost like John Wick dragons. But their goal in being violent was so that they never had to be violent again, type of a thing.
But they're flat out, I'll let you all just hurt yourselves. Leave me alone.
Yes. They're just they're like, I don't want anything to do with y'all. Violence is not my bag. I'm not sure if I like their story. Um, where Andarna is the measuring stick, that they left a dragon in a system they deemed negative, so that she could be raised by the negative system without any guidance against the negative system, so that when they meet her and she's a part of the negative system, they can call her an abomination. Screw that.
Yep. They didn't leave any teachings behind or anything to help her learn and connect with where she came from.
Oh,
So
it
no
like
shit.
so then Andarna leaves, like nearly kills Violet by leaving,
Mhm.
but like it sounds like based upon what is that dragon's name, Leothum, whatever.
Mhm.
It sounds like Andarna's going to leave for like a decade, but she came back like a month later. Do you think she came back all by herself?
So, I hope they didn't kick her out.
I'm wondering if like Leothum came back with her as
Oh.
like a guardian. Like, I'm not going to do anything, and I'm going to stay chameleon and
Mhm,
hidden,
mhm.
that kind of a thing.
Maybe. Maybe she came back with a small pack of them
That's
to finish
oh
the rest of the award stones. Because they fired the one, so I wonder if they were able to convince a few more to join them in firing the rest.
That's a good thought. Do you think she's back for good, or do you think she's gonna like scurry off to Irid land again?
I hope she's back for good. She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, she's sassy. I like her sarcasm. I think it's funny. She's always hungry. That's great. I don't know why that, but that's so funny.
Her voice in the graphic audio makes that book.
Okay, I'm gonna have to like Google this. I gotta find it.
Yeah. Hoopla. It's on Hoopla.
Dupla. Okay.
I'm sure it's on Libby too, but Hoopla is easier.
What was the best part of the second half of this book for you?
Starting to untangle the mystery of Violet's hair and her relationship with her parents. We have a lot of work to do still there, but I feel like now we know why her hair is weird, and I'm intrigued to learn more.
Yeah, I really want to go. I want Violet to go meet up with this grandma that Mira went and talked to.
Mhm.
I need to hear that backstory for sure. I think my favorite part of pretty much the entire book was Theophany seeming to be all knowing, which is why I asked earlier, was her end like too abrupt?
She's kind of a good guy Venin.
Sorta, but like then is she? It's like I really hope she's not dead. That's my big hope because I feel like there's so much left undone there. Okay, what's your least favorite part of the second half of the book?
I mean, it was most sad that Andarna left, but I get it. I still want to figure out what Traeger's death had to. Well, I don't know. It was actually a really well written end.
Yeah, it was a little rage inducing.
Hmm.
I think my least favorite part was when the dragons told Andarna she was an abomination. That
That
broke
was
my
sad.
heart.
I struggled with the point of view changes at the end. Granted, I was reading at 5 a.m., so that was part of my problem.
I had to reread because that multiple times. Um, so I was going to ask in our next episode where we talk about the entirety of it. Do you think so? Book one, book two, and now book three were all Violet's point of view. I think like some prologues or something, or some epilogues, we might get Xaden or whatever. But here at the end of this book in the battle, we get Rhiannon, Imogen, Xaden, and Violet going kind of back and forth through different aspects of this battle. Do you think that the next book is going to be multiple point of views, like a little bit more like a Sarah J. Maas style? Or do you think this was just sort of like an epilogue? It's just a one and done, and we'll go back to Violet's POV.
I think the second. I think we might get more prologue or epilogue with other characters' point of view, but I still think Violet will make up 75%.
Part of me hopes that we get some Xaden point of views because he's going to be completely missing and not really in the books.
That's a good point.
But also that would give us a point of view from the Venin, and I feel like that would be super interesting to read.
It would.
Any other topics you want to talk about for part two of Onyx Storm?
No, I think I'm ready to move on to a full book discussion.
Okay. Sounds good. I think let's put a bookmark in it for now, and we'll come back for an entire series thing.
Until next time.
See y'all later. Thanks for watching.